Oh my gosh. I am so excited. I'm outside a regular old Goodwill thrift store and we're gonna head in and do a thrift with me. I'm gonna show you everything I find, how much I project to sell those things for, and how much I project to profit from everything that I find. So let's cross our fingers and hopefully we find some really good stuff to sell on Poshmark and eBay. And hopefully it helps boost our sales at the end of January. All right, let's head inside. I actually beelined it for the maxi dresses section. After looking over my sales from 2022, which I did a whole video on, I'll link up on the screen, I realized that maxi dresses and coats were oftentimes my most profitable categories when I was thrifting, and so I've decided to really focus on those two in the thrift store. This is my first find of the day. It is a Lewitt dress. Lewitt is an in-house Nordstrom brand that is very expensive. I decided to pick this one up. It cost $14.99, and after checking comps, I think it will sell for $50, which would give me a gross profit of $25.01. I actually found a bunch of dresses at this Goodwill, but most of them were just priced way too high, which is usually the case, but this one wasn't. This was a new with tag Eloquii dress. I love selling Eloquii and I rarely find it, especially new with tag, so this was a really good find. I think this is so cute, and they only had it priced at $9.99, so I decided to go ahead and pick it up. It is a shirt dress in this satin material, really cute. It costs $9.99. My projected sales price is $45, which would give me a projected profit of $26. I really like finding plus size pieces, and I am picking up more and more these days. I like selling Torrid, I like selling Eloquii, and I like now selling this brand, Lane Bryant. I used to never pick it up. This was also new with tag and it was half off, so they had it marked at $19.99, but I got it for $9.99 with that half off. I still might have paid too much for it because I projected to only sell for about $30, but still that would give me a projected profit of about $14, so that's not too bad. I found this Addison Parker new with tag dress that was plus size and half off. So I wanted to put in my cart and check comps because honestly I wasn't very familiar with the brand Addison Parker. And after checking comps, I decided to put it back because it's not a brand that does very well. But I just wanted to make a point here that I am still, even after 5 years of doing this, constantly checking brands on my phone, and I feel like that is something that never goes away. You're going to do it a whole lot more in the beginning, and that's normal and actually really great. That's like one of the best ways to learn brands that you'll actually come across, because hey, you're coming across it right now, and you're gonna check a lot of brands that are just not worth anything, and that's fine. But it's really good practice to just keep your phone out, check brands as you come across them, and there are certain things you can look for higher quality tags, higher quality materials that can give you an indication that it might be worth money, but just always be looking. Okay, this was on a new rack and I spotted it from across the Goodwill. It is a Zara puffer coat. This particular style actually does really well. Comps looked great and it was actually going to be worth picking up for $24.99. I put it in my cart, and I don't know if you could see this here, part of the stitching on the front was coming out. So when I was going to check out, looking it over one last time, I saw that and I decided not to pick it up, especially since they had it priced so high at $24.99. If it was priced lower, I probably still would have picked it up and disclosed the flaw, but in excellent condition, that puffer coat can sell for about $70 to $100. So if you do find it yourself and it's priced appropriately, pick it up. Okay, so what time is it? I went in there probably for like an hour and maybe a little more. I found, 3 things, so not great. And I'm so used to thrifting at the bins at the Goodwill outlet that the prices on these things were just insane. So I'm just not used to it anymore. And typically I like to go to this one on Sunday, which is what today is, because that's when the color tags switch. That's when usually I can find the best 50% off deals. And I found, I guess, 1 or 2, as y'all saw, but not as many as usual. So not the best trip, but I have one more Goodwill that I have had the best luck at before. Sometimes it's not great, but sometimes I can find amazing things at. So I want to head there, see if we can find anything to sell. Hopefully it's better than this trip, but you never know. All right, so let's head on over there. Alright, well this was the first thing that I found at this Goodwill. It was a pair of Levi's 501 in the color Tango. Such a good find. I love selling Levi's, and especially 501s or ribcage or wedgie fits. And so I picked this one up. It cost $12.99. And based off checking comps on Poshmark, I believe this will sell for $45, which would give me a gross profit of about $23. I once again spent most of my time in this thrift store in the dresses section because, again, it has the highest average sales price for me of all thrifted categories. So when I was going through here, I was looking for formal wear dresses. I was looking for dresses for the upcoming spring. This is a great brand, Halara. It is an activewear brand, and I would have picked this up, but they had it priced at $49.99. It was new with tag, but still, that is pretty steep. But as you will see later, their pricing is very inconsistent. So I definitely like to take advantage of that. I think that's probably the case in a lot of Goodwills. So if you do see some really high prices, just push through because it just depends on who's pricing that day. This was a Lafayette 148 piece, and that was a recent tag. I would have picked it up. I love selling Lafayette 148, but it just had too many stains. Okay, this was probably my most awesome find of the day, and I actually had never found this before. This is Nike Every Stitch Counts. I don't know if you could see the tag there, but Nike has a lot of different kind of sub brands, and the Every Stitch Counts sub brand is very expensive. This dress retailed for $600, and I was able to get it at Goodwill for $9.99. Based off of comps, I think it should sell for about $120. The only ones that I could find were new at tag, and they sold for $150 and $175, but there are currently none available except for one person has it for sale for $4.99. So if I am able to sell it for $120, and I could potentially sell it for more, but at $120, that would give me a profit of $86. I really like picking up formal wear pieces from brands like Ralph Lauren and Calvin Klein, which is what I found here. And I would have picked this one up because, again, it was half off with those blue tags, but it did have too much damage on the hem. The hem was coming undone, it was dirty, and I just decided to pass on it. But really, it's a perfect example of a piece that if it was in better condition, I would have snagged that up, and I probably would have been able to sell it for $50 to $80 easily. Calvin Klein is a bread and butter brand that certain pieces will really surprise you. I have had a lot of success with jumpsuits, and if you're able to find a two-piece matching suit, that can actually do really well too. So I wouldn't completely count out Calvin Klein. I think it's something that a lot of resellers pass on, but it actually can sell for pretty good money if you find a substantial piece. I went through the blazers section here. I didn't find anything in the blazer section. I don't know if it's just me, but I rarely find anything in the blazer section. I don't know if a blazer section is unique to Goodwills in Portland, because we certainly did not have that in Wichita. They were just kind of mixed in with the other jackets and coats, but for whatever reason, I just have a pretty hard time finding anything in there. This is the long coat section. This is where I found a Fear of God coat that sold for $500 last year. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to skip this section, especially since it's so small. But unfortunately, I didn't find anything in this section this time. So I headed over to the normal coats section because, as I mentioned earlier, the two categories that have done well for me in the past from thrifted inventory are dresses and coats. So I want to make sure to hit both of those. But I didn't actually find much in this coat section. This Free People military jacket was interesting to me, but I decided to pass just because the style was a bit older and I didn't really check comps. I could have, but I decided to just go ahead and pass. And so I wandered over to the new racks and I found a couple of jeans that I thought were interesting. These were the brand Judy Blue, which I've actually never sold, but I heard Becky Park talk about Judy Blue. Let me know in the comments down below if you also watch her YouTube channel. It's great. But this one was a new tag Judy Blue. jean with a cost of goods of $12.99 and a projected sales price of $35, which would give me a projected profit of $15. And then I also found what I think is new without tag, but I'll probably just mark it as excellent condition pair of Judy blue jeans. These were only $7.99. They were a Capri, and they would give me a projected sales price of $25, which would give me a projected profit of about $12. I then finally went over to the regular dresses section, and I actually did find a few really good pieces that I'm excited to show you. So the first, I was like, hold the phone. I just found this earlier. It's new with tag Hilara. The last one was $49.99. This one was $7.99, half off. So I did pick that one up. It was a little bit cheaper than the other one they had in their store. So that was a really good find, and it had a cost of goods of $3.99 with a projected sales price of about $35 because it was extra small and that size is a little more saturated, and that would give me a projected profit of $24. I actually went on my Instagram stories recently and talked about how I found items at Goodwill that had last chance tags. And if you're unfamiliar with last chance, there are 2 locations of last chance stores in the country, one in Phoenix and one in Chicago. And they are stores owned by Nordstrom where they go and sell items that they can't sell in their normal stores. In Nordstrom or Nordstrom, it's basically where they have their last chance to sell items. And they'll also sell sometimes liquidation pallets from last chance. So I went on my Instagram stories and I was wondering, does Goodwill buy liquidation pallets from Nordstrom? Because I overheard a manager talk about how they buy liquidation pallets from Target, which makes sense because there's tons of new with tag Target in our Goodwill. So I think they're buying more and more liquidation, which is interesting. And I'm not, I guess, mad about it, but I don't know why. There's plenty of clothing they could be selling, but that could also be why our bins are so great. This was a great find. Outdoor Voices. Outdoor Voices is a brand that the leggings don't do that well anymore, but certain pieces will do really well, and the dresses are one of them. So I was super excited to find this dress. It had a cost of goods of only $7.99, and after checking comps, I think it will sell for $45, which would give me a projected profit of about $28. The whole time I was in the store, I kept seeing new with tag Target pieces, and especially their collaborations with different designers. And they had just had a collaboration with, I'm going to do my best to pronounce this, La Ligne. But then I came across an actual La Ligne piece, and this was new with tag, and it had a Nordstrom return sticker, more evidence that they're buying Nordstrom pallets, which was awesome because this brand retails for a ton of money. And so I got this new with tag piece for $12.99, and I project this to sell for $60 based off of comps, which give me a gross profit of $35. This is definitely a Bolo brand. They specialize actually in sweaters, so if you ever come across a sweater by this brand, pick it up. But this was still a great find, especially since it is new with tag. Let me know in the comments down below if your Goodwills in your neck of the woods also have new with tag inventory. It's interesting, and I have mixed feelings about it, but you know, from a reselling perspective, it's actually quite helpful because you can find really good brand new inventory for pretty cheap. So I'm curious to hear if this is also occurring where you live, in your thrift stores and your Goodwills. But I was just finishing up going through the dresses section here. I didn't find anything else that I think I picked up, but I did then turn to my right, and that is where the shoe section is in this particular Goodwill. Since I changed my primary sourcing strategy to the Goodwill outlet, I have been sourcing fewer and fewer shoes, but I do love selling shoes. And so whenever I'm in a regular Goodwill, I definitely like to take a little bit of time in the shoe section, and I'm glad I did this time around because I found an amazing pair of shoes, which we will see in a second. Definitely a Bolo brand, and it's one that resellers know and love, but I don't like sourcing shoes at the Goodwill bins because they're oftentimes just too beat up, and so I will sometimes just completely skip those bins altogether. I know I probably should go through them because you can find some good shoes for very cheap, but it's just not my favorite thing. I don't clean up shoes if I can avoid it, and so I just don't spend time at the bins in the shoe section. But at Goodwill you can find high quality shoes in excellent condition pretty often. And here we go. This is my find of the day in the shoe section. Rothy's. This is my second time ever finding Rothy's at Goodwill. Take out the inner sole to make sure that they are authentic, and I think those are authentic. They said made in China, and they also had some other authentication factors that made me think they were real, so I put them in my cart. So excited, and Goodwill didn't even mark them up. They priced them at only $6.99. After checking comps, I think these will sell for $90, which is great, and that would give me a projected profit of about $65. They're also just in excellent condition, which is always a good thing. They were size 11, which is a great size, and this is actually a discontinued print, which means that it's more rare, which I think is why, based off of comps, I think they'll sell for $60. I think some of the more common prints or less rare Rothy shoes now don't go for quite as much as they used to, but still, I mean, if you ever find Rothy's for $6.99, I'd say go ahead and pick it up, especially if they're in excellent condition. Love finding Rothy's. I actually did find one other pair of shoes in the shoes section, which you'll see in a bit. When I'm going through, I'm basically kind of just looking for high quality materials. I'm looking for what looks like genuine leather, and sometimes I just feel my way through it. And these were leather. They are Sorel, Ella Sandal, and Camel Brown. They were half off, so I got them for $4.99, and they're in excellent condition, and I think my projected sales price will be around $35, which would give me a gross profit of $23. But yeah, like I said, these look like they've never been worn, so Sorel sandals are going to not do as well as the boots, but they still, I think, are worth picking up, especially if you can get them for that cheap and they're in that condition. Here's another piece that probably came from a Nordstrom pallet. It is a new Attack Becca swimsuit top. I just found this hanging in the shoe section, so I went ahead and picked it up. It only had a cost of goods of $4.99. I think it will sell for about $25 based off of my experience selling this brand, which would give me a projected profit of $15. Okay, well, that was actually quite a successful trip. I didn't have too much time in there because I need to get home, but here, let me get my car. But I cannot believe I found Rothy's. That is the second time in my reselling career that I found them, so that was so cool. And I found some really good pieces like New Attack Halara and that Nike Every Stitch Counts dress. That could be serious money. I'm so excited about that. And a lot of just New Attack stuff, which was great, or just like really excellent condition. So even though I didn't find a ton of stuff, I'm still counting this Thrift With Me as a major success. Found some really good stuff. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite find from today was. If you like these videos, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up so I can make more. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're putting out new videos every Monday and Thursday. So I will see y'all in the next one. Okay, love y'all. Bye.